you said that you have a problem with Wings of Redemption, or you had problems with the YouTuber Wings of Redemption.
Well, if you wanted to talk about that right this second, that would be great to start from scratch. So here's the situation. Someone mentioned, sent me a message, either Xbox Live or through an email, and showed me a video of Wings of Redemption mentioning my name. You'll say, like, I can't take this shit no more. And you'll be like, alright, ban DoctorGames. I don't care about, I'm not the race discrimination, I'm just saying ban DoctorGames. That's the statement I heard from Wings of Redemption. And it looks like Wings of Redemption too, because obviously he's white, Caucasian, overweight like me. Shorter than me, obviously, smaller than me, but he's still a big guy. So I figured, so I said, okay, I guess I got underneath his skin from my past political content that I made back in years ago. Very controversial stuff about, many things you can think of back 10 years ago. One leads to another, later on next month, which is right now, as of this week, earlier this week, Optimus reported on Wings of Redemption lying about his, childhood friend or childhood related matters with other of his friends back in the past, and it was all nothing but a lie. Wings of Redemption tried to explain in one of his streams earlier this week. So okay, that's a double whammy for talking about what's going on right now with Wings of Redemption. I think Wings of Redemption tried to start something with other YouTubers. I found out based on looking up his most recent videos or videos from different people. They'll talk about like, oh, he's banned, and he wants to ban this guy, he wants to ban that guy, and it's like a ban accumulation over the years of what he was saying. And that was on his list as of like last month. So if that's the case, then if Wings of Redemption is listening in, or at least hearing me right now through the webcam, if you have something to talk about to me, then feel free to mention my full name, DoctorGames101, and let's have a debate about what you want to talk about, whether it's about games. If you want to talk about politics, obviously that's a little past tense. It's like, do I really have to go back in the past for my past political work? I mean, it's all reflective of what happened back with the governments and all, so under Obama and Bush. But to no avail. If he's up for it, you know where to find me. I have email, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace even. If you don't know my MySpace, that is a different username. You got my Discord. And if you somehow found my phone number, which is very hard to do on the internet, feel free to give me a call as well. Usually I give out business cards to my local area. I kind of centralize my audience within my area rather than outside New York City. So only a few people in New York City know about what's going on with the Wings of Redemption situation, to my awareness, that is. So just to put myself out there to let them know, let the audience know that I have nothing against Wings of Redemption. I don't hate the guy. He's a pretty good entertainer. I hear from other younger gamers like myself, or like 20, 18, 19 years old, they kind of look up to him in a sense, or they follow him for many years since they were kids. And I heard of Wings of Redemption for many years, since early as 2012, 2014, give or take, if I recall correctly. There could be more than one Redemption out there. So, yeah.
Okay. My feeling is I have no feelings, either positive or negative, about Wings of Redemption. I don't know who he is. I have heard of him like once or twice on YouTube, but I have no opinion of him positively or negatively. But it's kind of funny you invited him up to the podcast to debate, because I had that problem with someone in my own personal life. I know you tell me don't feed the trolls, but I kind of like to feed them after midnight, like the Gremlins. But this person, I'll bring it up because I actually would have had him on if he would actually defend his points. Did you hear the story about like a week ago about some scumbag adult that sucker punched like a 4-year-old in New York City?
Oh wow! I thought that movie from Will Ferrell was a joke altogether, but this happened in real life. Wow, never heard that till now.
Well, okay. Well, the thing is, I went to this guy who he wouldn't let me comment on his Facebook page anymore because I wouldn't buy into his bowel movement dogma. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I looked at his page and he had said nothing about the incident, and it was like the online websites had reported on it like 2 days ago, so it must have happened 3 days ago. You know, because it would have happened after the. So it's kind of like, you know, okay, so it's made the news, waves, it's heard about it, and this guy who complained to me about kids being in cages didn't report on it at all. He didn't mention a word of it on his Facebook page. Kind of inconsistent.
Yeah. So
I called him out on that, and he was so upset that I was looking over his Facebook page, and I said, what I was looking for was consistency. You had none of that. But yet you cried about kids in cages while Trump was president, but you were totally silent when Obama had the cages during his second term.
Okay.
That's even like one of the papers that would always bash Trump said, yes, Trump did inherit the cages from Obama. But of course, this guy didn't want to talk about that. He told me that I'm basically a monster because I didn't think the cop in the Tamir Rice shooting was 100% to blame without anyone else. Despite the fact that the kid was pointing a gun that looked real enough at other people, and even pointed it at the cops when they showed up. Someone points a gun at you, you're not going to take the time to say, gee, is that gun real or fake?
Wow.
And the thing is, for anyone who's going to try to bring up that, I'd love to debate them on this. I'll just bring up the facts right now.
Okay.
They took the cop did shoot the kid once, killing him. They did take it to a grand jury. 23 people hear the facts. They need at least 12 to vote for it to go to a trial, a criminal trial. They didn't get the 12 votes. So the cop did get fired, they said, for something different. And the city did settle with the family, which they shouldn't have. And then they had a retired FBI agent look over the facts. The retired FBI agent looked over the facts and said the shooting was justified. But like I said, the people brainwashed with bowel movement want people to blame the cop and say the cop is 100% to blame. That's obviously the minority opinion with how things happened. I mean, when you get I know cops isn't 100% realistic, but I'll even use it. 2 cops were chasing a woman down. I forgot what sparked the thing.
Yes.
But she took out her phone and pointed at the cops like she had a gun. The cops ended up taking her down, and one of the cops on camera said she almost lost her life over her phone.
Wow.
Yeah, people do that when they think there's nothing, when, I don't know about you, but when I played with cap guns when I was younger, we were told, A, we couldn't play with them at night to begin with.
Of course.
Second, we weren't supposed to point them at anyone that was just walking by our yard.
Definitely.
Because they think it's a real gun.
Especially if it's all black and it has a bang bang sound to it.
Yeah, I had one that was black with a white handle. But like if you're holding it by the handle, you don't see that white part. I saw
kids who were around my age back in the 1990s or early 2000s here in Valley Stream. They were playing cops and robbers with actual guns in front of a Nassau County police station booth. Like around the area, it was right behind the booth of the area. Like it was a park and everything behind there. It was crazy, but it was pretty cool at the same time. I was like, you don't get that, you don't see that in the Queens.
Yeah, so we played with cap guns, but the thing is, I would have never pointed it at a cop, even if it was fake. And I think the reason cops were called to begin with in the Tamir Rice case is because he was pointing it at other people, and other people didn't know if the gun was fake or not. And if I see someone I don't know pointing a gun at me, I'm going to assume it's real. Make better life choices next time.
Now, how old is this Tamir guy or girl? Or is it a guy or girl?
It was a guy. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Because if he's around his 20s, then he's in jail.
I think he was in his teens when he got shot.
Okay, so he was a teenager, and I'm sure he must have had juvenile delinquent record, I bet, too. So that's
he was 12.
Okay, so he's a newcomer. He's actually a kid, actually, like Trayvon Martin. The only difference with Trayvon Martin and this guy you're referring to is that Trayvon Martin was just walking home with Skittles. That being story said he was over at Skittles, and Zimmerman, attacked him, or I think he was a.
Well, that's what they say, but
yeah, the mainstream, yeah.
Zimmerman, I actually watched Zimmerman explaining to the detectives what happened. Trayvon actually went aggressive towards Zimmerman. Okay. Now, Zimmerman shouldn't have been following him, but Zimmerman was basically keeping an eye on him until the cops got there. Again, Zimmerman got too close, but the rest is Trayvon's fault. And anyone who wants to come on here, I'll be happy to debate you in any of these cases. So anyway, like I told the guy, this the first part, and he just didn't respond to me. And now he blocked me from his Facebook, so I can't even see what he posted.
I understand.
It's kind of like, and the thing is, even after he chewed me out for getting on him for not talking about this, he didn't post anything about that afterwards. And then the next morning, I was blocked and I couldn't see his page.
Is this user a well-mentioned YouTuber by any chance, or he's like a Facebook follower that's popularized?
No.
Okay.
The only reason I know of him is because I worked with him personally for like 4 months.
Oh, okay. So this is your past job history. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually trained him at Sloman's, and I always got along with him. But then, he starts looking at me like the enemy when he's brainwashed by bowel movement. So,
look, I don't mind the cells of the BLM because they've been through a lot, losing jobs, especially during the pandemic and all, go from job to job, place to place, looking for work, especially at the height of the pandemic back in the 2020 time. The cells, some of them are legitimate people that understand about justice and understand about fairness under the law, but they were at the wrong organization at the wrong time, or at the right moment, I should say at the same time, kind of, because George Floyd was an amplifier for the Black Lives Matter leadership to take capital gain on the matter. And the cells, the BLM cells, they got bamboozled, and I wish I could support them, at least in what they believe in. I could say to them, I say the pro-black movement, the power to the people movement, we shall persevere, like wade in the water, children, all that stuff. Like, those were some significant strides in our history as a country as a whole, us Americans. But the BLM has been not overtaken, but the leadership was started out to be with these 3 black lesbians, and I'm like, wow, this is a little contrary / not
to mention they're being investigated by multiple states because they took in so much money, and people and the state are asking, where's this money that you failed to report on?
Yep. That was, and one of the ladies, she bought a house with a hangar next to it.
House in a white neighborhood, a gated white community.
Gated? Oh wow!
That's something other blacks. If you know how, please tell me. But yeah, so that's why I don't support it, because they're not doing anything that I can see how other people would believe them based on what you said, but with what I've seen, that's not what they stand for, and that's what they haven't stood for in a long time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't support them. That's why I don't support anyone who does believe in them. But I'm more than willing to defend my points on why I don't support them, why I think they're a bad thing instead of a good thing.
Oh yeah. But yeah, this the Wings of Redemption situation is going. It's not just me involved. It's just other people. Optimus mentioned him. Talked about all this about the lies and deceits of Wings of Redemption himself, about his family and friends, and it was all staged. He tried to explain to his audience, And whatever's going on with him, I will. If it's okay with you, Triple J, I welcome him on our podcast one day, one night, and talk about it.
Sure. Anytime he wants to come on, just create an account on Discord if he doesn't have one. I'll add him to the buddy list, and then he can join us, and you two could hash it out.
Not only that, I think does he have an email or actual YouTube channel? Because I try to look for his channel and I see like copies, cop outs, like sock accounts, pretty much of Wings of Redemption.
I assume he has a YouTube channel. I don't know what would be the real one.
Yeah, that's the problem. So he made himself to be that way. That's why.
So
he's been out for 10 years. The last time I checked,
I think maybe even longer.
Yeah, he's like Chris Chan, but not the transition stuff. You got FPS Doug, Chris Chan. Who else? Wings of Redemption, and all these people. Fucking Angry Video Game Nerd, all the old school YouTubers and stuff. Things have definitely changed in today's world, So yeah.
Anyway, is that it? We're ready to move on, or
that's it? Yeah, for the time being.
All right. The next thing I wanted to bring up, which we don't have an article for, WWE 2K22.
I think I saw the trailer of it not too long ago.
It's not so much the trailer, it's so much what I really saw. Okay, I was on YouTube, I saw a video of someone playing the general manager mode my GM mode for a half hour.
Okay.
I watched 15 minutes. Honestly, after that trailer, I would rather play GM mode from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 or 2008 instead of 2K22. I'll compare and contrast so you can see what's so bad about this new one as opposed to what we got with the old games. Mm-hmm. 2007 might, and the thing is, before I go on, you have to decide if 07 or 08 would be better. 08 had the ECW brand that you could pick to control, but 07 had wrestlers like Rob Van Dam and Chris Benoit.
Oh, yes.
So, you got, and 06, while I never tried it, it did have a GM mode, but most people blamed it for being like bare bones, just a lot of text.
No voiceover.
Well, it wasn't really voiced over except for the cutscenes, but the thing is, most people were like, when they talked about it in 06, they were like, yeah, this is good for a building block. It's good for a foundation. We need more, though, especially in the sequels. Okay, so 07, 08. First off, like I said, there's no cutscenes. In 07, you would see like Vince McMahon talking to Jonathan Coachman or Shane McMahon. This might have been 08, or Tommy Dreamer. And Vince McMahon would be like, if you fail, that makes me look bad. And then I think 07 had the ceremony where the general manager of the year would get a trophy.
Okay.
And the failing general manager would almost be fired. In 07, Vince McMahon awards Shane McMahon, who was running Raw, the trophy. Theodore Long starts to take a slow exit, and Vince McMahon's like, "You're still here? You must want me to fire you." And at my sight before I do fire you. What I like, especially in 08, was the post-WrestleMania draft. Depending on how well you did, you would lose, after WrestleMania, you would lose 3 wrestlers, but you would gain 3 wrestlers. And if you did really good at WrestleMania, or promotionally, you would get 2 really good picks. Like, I was ECW, I forgot who I lost, but I got John Cena, The Undertaker, and Gregory Helms on my roster.
Good selections. 2 heavyweights, or 1 superweight, 1 heavyweight, 1 cruiserweight.
Yeah, Gregory Helms I had already traded away, but he came back.
Gregory Helms.
But anyway, the first thing, there's no post-WrestleMania draft. You could start up your old save and continue playing GM mode year after year, You can't do that in 2K22. It just ends. In 07, there was 06 or 07, Raw still had Sunday Night Heat. Sunday Night Heat was optional in General Manager mode, but it was like the B show, where you put your lower popular guys on there, hopefully to become more popular. There's no B shows in my GM mode of 2K22. In my GM mode, there's 4 brands you can pick from. You can pick Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or NXT UK. Regardless which brand you pick, they only have the world title for the guys and the world title for the women's. No Intercontinental Championship, no United States Championship, no Tag Team Championship.
What? Not even European Championship? Come on now.
Nope. It's world title for the guys and the world title for the girls in 2K22.
Do you have to pay for the championships to appear in the game?
They just don't exist as titles that are in the mode.
Who thought about this? Just put only 2 titles in that game, W2K22.
We can get into that more. Remember how in 07, 08 you could book like 5-man matches, 6-man matches, fatal 4-ways? In 2K22 GM mode, you can only book 1-on-1 and tag team matches.
That sounds like the Xbox game WWE Raw from 2002. I mean, I remember that game. I played at the GameStop, or it was called Funko at the time.
You played it with me. I think the video is still on Daily Motion.
Oh, well, that's later on. That's in 2016, give or take. I'm talking about like when I was like 14, 15 years old. That's what I was at that same exact GameStop that was on the first floor of the mall. I actually also got the Fear 2 game later on. But that's another story. But the Raw game, the 2002 Xbox game, that was just bare bones too. It was good to play as a young guy like me. So I'm like, I like this Raw, Triple H, and Undertaker, Kurt Angle, The Rock. Those big guys in wrestling. All well and good, right? But then the selections are nil. They're like bare bones, like you said, with WWE 2K22. To the point where it's like, I think I'm just going to rent it at best, and that's about it. Yeah. And I haven't played it since. That's the only first and last time I played Raw. Well, up until 2015 with you, and that was okay too. Experience because I played with you, but at the GameStop, I was like, it's not going to sell well.
Yeah, they do have a new thing where, like, you can pick a choice to be like one of 5 different general managers. You can be Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, and I think there's another one that you can choose to be. Or you can be your own, or you can be a creative general manager and get involved in shows, interfere in matches. Triple H, the person that did this video was playing as Stephanie McMahon. Mm-hmm. And Triple H was giving her objectives like, have your 2 top guys in a tag team match against each other. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, by the way, the matches, you can only book 3 matches for your show.
That's it?
3.
I understood 5, but 3?
Raw versus SmackDown versus Raw gave us like 6.
And
that was with 2 promos also.
SmackDown versus Raw.
You also get 2 promos in this, but you can only book opening match, a mid-card match, and a main event.
They try to dumb it down for the younger players for some strange reason. I don't know why would they do that, because the more the merrier. Not only the more is good, but also the quality of it is good. I love SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 the most out of all SmackDown games. You know why? Yeah. Because I still have that game. I have to actually have the Superstar pack next to me on the desk, and I kept it for collection reasons. And last time I played SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, I was doing general manager. And man, even though I sucked at it, it was a good experience. I could relive what happened with Undertaker and Kurt Angle, Triple H versus The Rock, the Hell in the Cell 6-man match with Kurt Angle, The Rock, Rikishi, who else? So-called Steve Austin. like I can relive that back then. Oh, sure, I won't gain ratings the next night or next week, I should say. But I did a good job trying to maintain some kind of sprucial of the map, you know.
Yeah. So anyway, also there's no storyline writers to buy like you did in SmackDown vs. Raw.
Wow, that sucks.
When you buy wrestlers to be part of your roster, there's only one price that each wrestler has. Like if you say you wanted to put Batista on your roster in SmackDown vs. Raw, you could pay him for 5 weeks, for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and a year. You had like 4 or 5 different options with how much you would pay him total and how much you would pay him each week, depending on how much you were paying him total. You don't have those options here in my GM 2K22.
It's gonna be a flop, this game.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better. The pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view, because Vince McMahon has lost his mind, was in GM mode, is WrestleMania Backlash. That's the name of it. You cannot change out the events in GM mode.
Wow.
Now, this was in Universe mode and not GM mode of the past, but like in Universe mode, you could play. I could take out, say, Hell in a Cell, and I could download a custom Halloween Havoc arena and put Halloween Havoc in my October pay-per-view slot if I wanted.
Okay.
You can do that really almost any month with any pay-per-view, especially if you have the online accessibility to download arenas and stuff. You can't do that in this game. In GM mode, I should say.
Tisk.
So yeah, and it turns out that they really didn't add too much. The one thing they added was a My Faction mode, which is microtransactions. Basically buying card packs trying to put together the best faction.
The more money you have, the better.
Yeah, that's what they spent all their time adding in. And GM mode is just a shell of what it was in the SmackDown vs. Raw games 15 years ago.
Interesting.
And also, like they have Universe mode where you can either play, where you can book the whole company, or you can just focus on a single wrestler and you only see the cutscenes that pertain to the wrestler you pick and wrestle in their matches. It's basically being a wrestler in Universe mode instead of controlling everyone. Like I said, if you really like the General Manager mode, just get Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. It's $35, and with the mods, you can pick wrestlers from any time. You can control company from any time, and you'll have a lot more options of what to do than 2K22 is going to give you.
You know what TEW should do? Total Extreme Wrestling. What they should do is modify to a point where it's easier to put your old favorites, organizations, old favorite wrestlers into the faction or into the roster of your choice, and have the style like a GM, like we did before with Thanksgiving last year, and that would be great right there for